Hello, we are using the area model for division. We're doing long division. And what I notice a lot of times with long division is that it feels really hard and it seems really scary. And it seems that way for a week or 2 weeks or maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And then one day it's just going to click and you'll get it and you'll have it forever. So as long as you stick with it and really put in the work, then you are going to be good to go. And make sure you're really working hard because we're going to be doing long division. You know, if you are in 4th grade right now, you will be doing it all year, but you are also going to be doing it in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. You're going to be doing it in high school. You'll be doing it in college. Long division is really, really worth knowing because you're going to be using it a ton. So learn it now and it will pay off for you so much. So we're going to do 936 divided by 4. 936 is the dividend. That's a fancy word for the number getting divided up. 4 is the divisor, which is the number that's dividing into it. And then the quotient is the answer. So that's a fancy word for answer and dividing. So always put it into a fact triangle, please, so that you can really see this. We're taking our big number, 936, goes at the top of the triangle, and we're trying to divide it by 4. And the quotient will go here. This is what we don't know. So think about this as multiplication. 4 times what will get us up to 936. When we're dividing, we're really going to be multiplying this 4 and getting up the mountain. All right? So we're trying to figure out how many times would we skip count our 4 to get up to 936. And we could skip count, but that would take a long time. So instead, we're going to start at the bottom of the mountain. I like to use this little mountain climber to think about it. And we'll start multiplying 4 by things to try to get close to 900. And then try to see how much is left and try to get close to the next part and get up to the top. So you could do, 4 times 100 is 400. And then 4 times another 100 is 400. And that gets us up to 800. And then 4 times 25 is another 100. That gets us up to 900. So you're just trying to multiply your 4s and climb up the mountain. So there are some very specific steps too that make this a lot easier than it sounds. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to use an area model, and we set it up very similarly to if you were multiplying. And we're going to draw 3 boxes because there are 3 place values here, hundreds, tens, and ones, 936. So this is our big number, 936, and we are dividing it by 4. And we are going to put the big number, the dividend, in the inside. Because think about it, if you were using an area model to multiply, you would do 4 times something and get your big number in here, but we already have the big number. So we're trying to expand it out. 4 times what is going to get us to 936. All right. So like I said before, you're just going to start multiplying 4 by big numbers to chip away and climb up this mountain. Like 4 times 100, which is 400. But I bet we could get closer on our first try. So let's take that 936 and think about it. Just think about the hundreds place. We don't need to do it all at once. Just do, could we do 4 times something to get close to 900? Like, let's think about this. Could we do 4 times something to get close to 900? Or, as we know, when you're multiplying with zeros, you can just forget about them for a second and put them back later. Is there 4 times something that'll get you close to 9? Not to 9, but close. What about 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is 8, right? So let's do that. But we're trying to get up to 100. So let's, 4 times something equals 800. So put those zeros back in. Can we do 4 times 200 and get up to 800, right? Look at that. We are already chipping away, almost all of our mountain. We just got up to 800 and we only have to get up to 936. So that's pretty cool. Here's where we put everything. So this is what we multiplied by, our quotient down here. We're going to put it at the top because that's how the area model works. We did 4 times 200 equals, and you put it in here, 4 times 200 equals 800. So we have made it pretty far up our mountain so far. I like to think of this as one of those progress bars that you see at fundraisers and you're trying to fill them up. So we have filled up almost all of our triangle. We already got up to 800 and we only need to get up to 936. How much more do we need to go? We're trying to find the difference of what's left, right? How do you find the difference between 800 and 936 to find out how much is left? When you find the difference, you're going to subtract. So I'm going to do 936 minus 800, and that will tell me how much further up the mountain we have to climb. So 936 minus 800 is 136. This is still something we have to divide. So we did 800, and now we have to do 136 divided by 4. So put the 136 here in your box. And now we're going to do this. Can we do 4 times something to get close to 136? Well, let's see. We could do 4 times 25 makes 100. That would get us pretty close. We could chip away. You could also look at this as 130, and you could say, could I do 4 times something to get to 130? Markers. So, for example, could I do 4 times something to get close to 130? Take away that 0, forget about it. Could I do 4 times something to get close to 13? What about 12? 12 is pretty close to 13. Let's do that. 4 times what equals 12? 3. Therefore, 12 wouldn't get us that far, but 120 would, right? Put the 0 back in. There we go. So 4 times 30, that'll get us 120 more. So we're really chipping away here. So put that 30, that's what we did. 4 times 30 equals 120. So we have gone up further now. We already went 800 and we traveled up another 130 and we are almost at the top. Now we got to figure out the difference. How much further do we have to go? To figure out the difference, we're going to subtract. 136 minus 120. Oh my goodness, it's just 16. That's it. That's all we have to do. 16. So just to recap, what we did here is we were trying to multiply our 4s to get up to 936. So 4 times 200 got us up to 800. And then we had 136 left over, and 4 times 30 got us up to 120, and then we had 16 left over. So we're multiplying our 4s by big numbers and chipping away at the number 936. So 4 times what is 16? We know this one, right? Do we need a fact triangle? Maybe I just like drawing fact triangles at this point. 4 times what equals 16? 16 divided by 4 equals 4. It's a square number. So we filled in that last part. We got that last 16. We did 4 times 200, and then 4 times 30, and 4 times 4, and we got 136, 120, and 16, and those created your 936. Therefore, we are saying that 936 divided by 4 is 234. That's our answer, quotient. Now I want you to double check this, especially if this is new for you. Really, really important that you double check. And here's how you double check it. A lot easier than it sounds. You just said, or I said, or we said, that 936 divided by 4 equals 234. How can you prove that? Oops. You can multiply to prove that. So let's multiply to prove that. There are 2 ways to do it. There are actually more than 2 ways, but these are my 2 favorite ways. Area model and standard algorithm. So if you want to prove it with the area model, it looks like this. And if you want to prove it with the standard algorithm, it looks like this. Okay? And the area model really helps you because it looks just like what we did, but we're multiplying in and before we divide it out. So to prove it with your area model, you would do 4 times 200, which is 800, 4 times 30, which is 120, and 4 times 4, which is 16. And then when you add all of those together, you will see that it equals 936. So you proved it. With the standard algorithm, you would do 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So really important after you divide that you multiply it out to prove it. And that's how we multiply, and we use our area model to solve a long division problem. You're just multiplying that divisor by big numbers, chipping away as you go up the mountain and subtracting to find the difference.